We have got a big storm system expected to arrive right in time for the Christmas holiday here with a stormy side as well as a snowy side that's going to be on the northern side. We'll have all the details on everything coming up on that storm with day-by-day timing, the rain and storm coverage, the snowy side, and travel impacts in this video. Alright, let's take a look at the zones of interest with this upcoming storm system. I'm looking at snow possible here over parts of the north central United States. We're going to have to see exactly kind of what comes out of this, but it's looking like we could see a colder side up there. Heavier precipitation going to be the story over the southern and eastern tiers, especially with the storms and flooding potential there from parts of the mid-south, as well as heading on up to the Ohio Valley, the southeast, as well as into the northeastern United States. Now, your near-term precipitation here, kind of looking over the Los Angeles region as well as just northwest of town. Getting some showers and storms to push on in through the time frame here as we make our way into our Thursday. Into our Friday, it's just going to be pretty heavy in the precipitation department there. Not really much snowfall here because it's pretty warm system, so we're looking at precipitation there that could dump a quick 2+ inches of rainfall, causing flooding in that region. Now, we've also got this band of some showers and storms pushing through parts of Texas as well as the Oklahoma Panhandle on our morning here on your Thursday, the 21st. Through the day, we'll see those showers push eastward, really through parts of central as well as in northern Texas, as well as central Oklahoma, through central and eastern parts of Kansas as well. We continue to see those showers kind of spread on out, make their way in a messy fashion into parts of the Midwest, as well as all the way back down to the mid-south here as we make our way into our Friday afternoon. And then pointing the arrow back at what we're looking at next, that's going to be on over in the southwestern United States. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But overall, it's looking like that's going to be the main playmaker in our Christmas Day storm. So again, you can see what we get through our Friday afternoon. Again, some of those totals here along the California shore is close to 2 to 4 inches of rain, while over the plains, we only amount to around a ½ inch to an inch at the highest. By the way, please hit subscribe for accurate, easy to understand, and passionate weather forecasting for you here. I always try to deliver the best I can, so hopefully you enjoy the content. Now, in terms of your future radar and precipitation, let's kind of take a look at what happens here. You can see over parts of northern Texas, into parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, as well as western Missouri and western Arkansas. We've got those showers pushing through on our Friday. Also notice here what's in southwestern California on our Friday morning is going to combine with something moving out of the Pacific Northwest to form that storm system here right in time for Christmas Eve and Christmas. Here we go to the end of the day on our Friday, December 22nd. Some showers and storms pushing their way on up into parts of Wisconsin, as well as Illinois, mainly just rain showers there, honestly. Some snowfall in higher elevations of Washington as well as Oregon. Some showers pushing on up, and heavy showers at that, into parts of Arizona. And then as we make our way into our Saturday here, into the mid-morning to late morning time frame, we're going to see some showers in West Texas, some snowfall back over the Rockies. This is going to transpire into a low-pressure system pretty quickly here by the time we go into our Christmas Eve in the morning. Dynamic here with rain and storms here on the eastern side from parts of the central and eastern Great Plains all the way on down into parts of the Arklatex region. Snowfall wrapping back around into parts of the Nebraska Panhandle, Kansas, as well as the Rockies, Denver, Jackson, Wyoming, all these areas getting quite hammered with some decent snowfall here from the system. And then as we continue to play things out through the rest of our Christmas Eve, maybe a narrow band of some snowfall setting on up. Again, this is just the European model scenario with rainfall here pushing over parts of, say, Missouri, Arkansas. We've got this all the way on down into Louisiana, and then as we go into our Monday on Christmas here in the early morning time frame, looking like you might get your final shot at some white Christmas conditions here for parts of Nebraska and Kansas, because remember, you got to have that snow on the ground by the time you're waking up here at 7 a.m. on Christmas. Of course, waking up early, right, to unwrap those presents. Here we go into the end of our Christmas and beyond. We really see that snowfall being kind of dissipate, it looks like, with some showers just continuing over the Great Lakes and parts of the southeast. But notice this low pressure is just kind of lingering around, spinning around here. It's not connected to anything, and I'll show you that in just a second. But you can see here, kind of the area I just circled is where we're just going to have to watch for wintry precipitation over a 3 to 4 day span. Even as the system weakens, we could at least see some brief flurries behind it. So let's kind of look at the mid to upper level wind patterns that are going to kind of influence this here. You can see a low pressure system moving on along to that South California shore. Again, look at this, the polar jet stream much further north in Canada. We've got the subtropical jet stream riding along the Gulf Coast of the United States and through Mexico. This low pressure system, I'm drawing an X over it because it's completely cut off from both jet streams, and that continues here as it makes its way on off towards the east, over the Four Corners region and into the south central United States. You notice it tries to interact with a little piece of energy there on that subtropical jet stream. The polar jet stream stays well to the north, but remember, we're going to see a little piece from the polar jet stream as well coming combined with this. But again, that's just not going to be enough to kind of pull this into either jet stream. By the time we go into our Christmas, look at this, we've got that low pressure system over the United States. The entire United States otherwise is just staying here, with this low pressure system just circulating, but we don't have any jet stream influence here at all over the United States at this point. So something really interesting to look at. But your lightning and thunder zones that we're monitoring here, this is as we go towards our Christmas Eve. Showers and storms, even in the early morning hours here through parts of Texas, really all parts of Texas getting in on some heavier rain, some thunderstorms during this time frame expected to be pretty active as we go towards that wake-up time frame on our Sunday, Christmas Eve morning. Parts of eastern Oklahoma, central and eastern Texas with that Euro model scenario, seeing some thunderstorms. Wouldn't be shocked if we also see some a little further north into parts of Kansas and Missouri as well. Of course, I'll time those out as we get closer with Radar Omega. But for now, we're just looking at distant models here. So we're still several days out here, so keep that in mind as we make our way into our Christmas time again. Maybe a few showers and storms as far north as maybe even parts of southern Nebraska. We'll monitor that zone closely, as well as down towards the Gulf Coast. That's where it's really looking like we'll see some of the shower and storm coverage in its entirety. Maybe some severe weather, marginally severe weather. I just don't see major ingredients coming together since this really isn't attached to a jet stream. We'll monitor this, but right now it's just looking like some scattered showers and storms. A few of them could be severe as this makes its way, especially closer to the Gulf Coast and the South Central. Now again, as we make our way through the early morning time frame on our Christmas Eve, it's really just parts of the Mountain West that get some snowfall by this point. But as we wake up on your Christmas morning, look at this snowfall on the ground here in parts of the panhandle of Nebraska and western parts of South Dakota, as well as probably into parts of North Dakota as well that aren't necessarily shown here. This is a model blend, so you're looking at all the models put together here into one thing and one product. By the end of the day on Christmas, though, you might at least see flakes falling and coming on down here into parts of Iowa and Minnesota as well if the system can set up the way I'm seeing it right now, but it's still kind of questionable here in that area I just circled here into parts of the upper Midwest as well as parts of into the Great Lakes region. Really looks like snowfall kind of drops off by December 28th here in that area, the chances from that storm. And again, everybody else in this area I just circled, sorry, you're looking pretty much out of luck for snow by Christmas unless you have any existing snow depth on the ground. But with warming temperatures, I just really don't think that's going to linger around much at all. Your possible rainfall totals with the model blend, here we go through parts of southern Arizona. Notice those totals, they could be close to 2 to 4 inches even there. That's going to cause some problems near Phoenix, I can guarantee you. Over the plains, we also get some of that precipitation, but again, it's really this zone I'm circling here. And that's really going to have some problems by the time we go to our Christmas Eve. But beyond Christmas Eve, look at how that precipitation really fills in over parts of Kansas, Oklahoma, eastern Texas, parts of Arkansas, as well as parts of Louisiana. We're going to see a quick 1 to 3 inches of rain. I guarantee you we'll see flooding out of that. Totals could end up near closer to 4 to 5 inches in the locally higher amounts of Oklahoma, eastern Texas, so Dallas, all the way over into the Texarkana area. You need to monitor the rainfall forecast closely, but even on up towards Iowa, Nebraska, some heavy rainfall, and then again, maybe some wraparound snow. And then here we go into Georgia, the Carolinas, of course, just hard hit in some of those areas by some very heavy rainfall out of the nor'easter we just saw. Definitely want to monitor that as this low pressure system kind of dives on down closer to that area. But remember, this is a cutoff low, so it's a lot more unpredictable than you might expect with a low pressure system. Here we go. Here's my latest white Christmas forecast. Elevation equaling those results here in the Mountain West. You'll probably have some snowfall on the ground unless you're in the lowest of low elevations here in that region. Here we go into parts of the Dakotas as well as parts of eastern Montana, eastern parts of Wyoming as well as northeastern Colorado. Here we're looking pretty good with the snow chances beginning to increase there. Unfortunately, probably not over parts of the upper Midwest. And then as we go into the rest of the country, unfortunately right now it's just looking like you're pretty much out of luck. Only place here for everyone else that I might see some snowfall or have it on the ground existing at least is going to be into parts of New York coming off of the lakes there and from the lake effect snowfall we've seen behind systems. My latest Christmas precipitation forecast overall, rain and mountain snowfall here over parts of the Pacific Northwest. Snowfall possible here over parts of the Dakotas and Nebraska as well as western Minnesota, with rain showers just looking possible over a broad zone. I'm not going to highlight any individual areas. A broad zone here from the Mid-South to the upper Midwest and the Great Lakes, as well as through the Southeast and Mid-Atlantic. So yeah, you get the point. We could have a very sprawling and kind of messy system here setting up by the time we make our way towards our Christmas. So we just need to monitor the forecast very closely. This is all the latest details I have for you right now, but this is just your Christmas forecast, not saying you won't see precipitation before or after it. Again, if you enjoy my content, please hit subscribe for accurate, easy to understand, and passionate forecasting. Hopefully you're able to understand this video pretty good. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day, everyone.
One nation weather.